If you're obsessed with the Grill Team, you can relive it with our podcast. If you're obsessed with League, get Fox Sports, only on Foxtel.
Triple M's Grill Team.
Holy crap!
The following program is based on speculation and conjecture. Here we go. Welcome. This is the Triple M Grill Team podcast. Leave a message for the guys at triplem.com.au.
Good morning. Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome back.
Hey, Paige.
Good morning.
Matty, how are you?
Hello, Gus. How you going, mate?
Not too bad. Horrible news, of course, boys. Over the weekend, we've been hearing about this Malaysian airline flight. 239 people aboard, 6 Aussies, and they've just vanished. Absolutely vanished. No one knows exactly where they are.
Gus, can I riddle you a question? How does a plane suddenly disappear?
In this day and
Just
age,
fall out of the sky?
Yeah, I've got no idea, Matty, but we have got someone that might be able to tell us that answer. Tracy Vo from Channel 9 News. Tracy, the latest we're hearing is that they've found some debris from the plane. Is that correct?
Yeah, g'day guys. Look, I mean, there has been a few reports of debris being found over the last 4 hours or so. This report has come out of Vietnam. Of course, it is still the middle of the night here in Kuala Lumpur, so where the authorities will wait until daylight to have a closer look at that discovery. The last update that we received from the Department of Civil Aviation is that any debris that had been found in the water had no links to the missing plane. So this search is certainly continuing and has intensified to try and find out exactly where this jet is.
Tracy, in modern times with satellites and whatnot, God, it is hard to believe that a plane can just disappear.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's just as baffled as you are, Matty, because really, as you were saying, with your satellites and flight trackers and radars, suddenly for a Boeing 777, which has a safe track record, to lose contact with air traffic control suddenly is bizarre. We did hear yesterday that there was a potential, or the authorities are looking into military radar reports that this jet may have in fact turned around. So that's why they've widened this search in those waters between Malaysia and Vietnam. And it's not an easy search. It's a vast, lot of ocean out there. So it's a big, wider search for this plane. But yeah, that radar showed that this jet could have possibly turned around and could have landed completely different in a different location to where it lost contact with air traffic control.
Yeah, and I think that the amazing thing as well, Tracy, is Malaysian Airlines have got a pretty good track record as far as
brilliant.
Any type of accidents happen. That's why it's even more astonishing.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, they have, faced criticism over the reporting of when this plane had been missing. But I guess for them, they're just scratching their heads as well because, as we said before, planes just don't disappear like that. I mean, this particular Boeing had just sort of a bit of damage not that long ago, but it had been repaired. So, and the pilot that had been flying this plane had many hours, thousands of hours under his belt. So, but there has been another focus as well in their investigation. They're looking, of course, into those 2 stolen passports and the passengers that were holding those passports. So that's a real, I guess, that's another thing they're really looking into. There's CCTV footage they're reviewing and other bits and pieces that are slowly coming in about these 2 passengers.
Well, Tracy, thank you so much. We appreciate that, and we look forward to seeing all your pieces on Channel 9 during the day, and we look forward to seeing that. Thanks for your time this morning.
Yeah, yesterday, you woke up to yesterday morning, and I think myself, as a former player, as MG would have been alarmed by the headline, "I'm brain damaged." Yeah. And we saw the interview last night. "I'm brain damaged," Ian Roberts on Channel 7's Sunday night program. People, this is a game changer without a shadow of a doubt. Some people sometimes trivialise the shoulder charge, or when people get knocked out, and should the shoulder charge be banned? Should Sonny Bill Williams be looking at 4 weeks on the sideline? Well, you only had to watch Ian Roberts last night to get the energy to have a good look in the mirror and for a bit of self-assessment where you sit on this one. It was terrifying. Showing there was an American doctor on there that's doing the studies on what concussion does to the brain. And it was absolutely terrifying, And I got to say, I'm sitting there with my oldest son, and I'm looking at him and I'm saying, you sure you want to play this game? You sure you want to play contact sport? It was, we interviewed Peter Fitzsimons yesterday on the Sunday show on Triple M, and he was telling us some of the things that we're going to lead in, and he was talking particularly about an old coach of his he had at Manly Rugby, Tizza, and he said that great guy, but as he got a lot older, he said he become irritated, become quite angry, would have outbursts, and he developed early dementia and passed away. Well, his family actually sent his brain to America to get assessed, and he had this terrible disorder, which is basically a concussion disorder, which is affecting a lot of the American footballers, and his brain had actually shrunk. What happens with this condition, what happens when a concussion happens is proteins attach itself to the brain and basically rots the brain. And we're seeing a lot of American footballers. And watching the show last night and watching Ian Roberts, I could have been watching 1,000 former players that I've run into. I'm running into far too many former players, former hard men who are approaching 60, and when I shake their hand now, there's a brittleness in their hands and there's a blankness in their eyes. This was an American doctor talking about last year. George Smith, you might remember, in the Bledisloe Cup, got completely knocked out, didn't know where he was, and then returned to the game 5 minutes later.
I watched that film of George Smith and just thinking about how many people failed him at that moment. I mean, the medical staff not holding him out, the coaches not seeing that he couldn't walk on his own and not saying, I'm not putting him back in. His teammates, I don't know if anybody stepped up and said, hey, he's no good, you can't put him back on the field. But, somebody whose brain is actually functioning needs to stand up for him.
So what is the solution? I say the bleeding obvious. If you are clearly concussed, then it is a mandatory 4-week stand down. No ifs, no buts, no excuses, no appeals. But continuing business as usual is not an option, for it's now clear that the damage that can be done by ignoring concussion is terrifying.
Well, not only in the 80s and 90s did people ignore concussions, during the era that MGU played and I played, that it was actually you were given the thumbs up if you returned to the field of play. You were given the thumbs up.
Badge of honour.
Yeah, you weren't game to say, look, I can't go back out there. It's and you're right, Matty, game changer. When I saw that it was Ian Roberts, who, in my opinion, was one of the toughest players I ever played with. To see him in that interview last night was quite disturbing.
Well, this is Ian Roberts. He's talking about basically what concussion did to him and the fears he had when he would go through days where he would basically forget things.
I'd driven to the game, but my dad drove me home, and we had to come back the next day and look for my car. I could not remember where I parked the car. I'd lost the whole day. It's those experiences that I'm worried about, because there's 3 different times in my memory that I lost the whole day. I've quite literally lost the whole day.
And I keep mentioning, when I played back in my day, I was 107, 8 kilos. The average rugby league player these days, average wingers, halfbacks, 5'8", front rows, 108 kilograms.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things I want to talk to you blokes about in a moment. Firstly, though, do you think what the NRL are doing now, Matty, is the right thing?
Yeah,
is that all they can do at the moment, or
there's a lot more they can do. I mean, Peter Fitzsimons, I'm telling you right now, when coaches and officials hear 4 weeks on the sideline, they'll say, oh, no. And firstly, what they do there, they say, oh, what about the roster? We're going to run out of players. It's always results-driven, okay? That's what we're dictated by at the moment, rather than the welfare of the player. At the moment, yeah, we've come a long way. At the moment, that we're seeing guys get knocked out, they go off, they get assessed. I'm pretty dubious about some of the guys, by the way, returning to the field on the weekend. If you stand and you stumble and you collapse, it's hard to believe they go off and you're okay.
Two things.
Well, I don't want to label a team so much, because at the end of the day, because I'm not a medical practitioner, and obviously these good doctors go in and say, okay, he's okay. I mean, these guys have got qualifications. But there was another one, and I can't say this. I watched William Hopewadi get knocked yesterday. And William, early in the game, stood there and he staggered around, and it was clear that William didn't know where he was. And the game actually got held up for a second, and I could see the trainer trying to sort of usher him towards the sidelines. William, and as you do when you're concussed, and as you do when there is so much peer group pressure around you trying to impress, you say, no, I'm okay. No, I'm okay. We know we've made it when someone actually goes, no, you are not okay, and walk on the field and pull him off.
Exactly right. Now, something that alarmed me yesterday, boys, when I heard on last night's program. This is an American doctor talking about people that have played the game for an extended period of time.
You've played more than 10 years of football. Right now, over 95% have shown positive for the disease.
A disease known as chronic traumatic encephalopathy.
Essentially, kind of causes your brain to rot, like memory problems, impulse control issues, depression, and that eventually you may get dementia if you live long enough.
Okay, he's obviously talking about the NFL. He's talking about...
more to the point...
head contact sports.
No, he's talking body contact sports.
Yeah. You guys both played 26 years, 12 years in first grade for you, Matty, 15 for you, MG. You could easily be one of the 95%. How does that sit with you boys this morning, right now?
It's not are we brain damaged, it's to what extent. Peter Fitzsimons said yesterday on the show, on the Sunday show on Triple M, he said, I went over there and said to the American doctor, well, obviously I'm okay. He said, I must have shirked the load because I've written numerous amounts of books. And he goes, Peter, you're not listening. You are brain damaged. It's to what extent and what extent you'll find out when you get into your 60s. And I'm watching the show last night, and I remember getting knocked out for the first time when I was 6 years old, and getting knocked out and constantly getting knocked out through At one point during my first grade career, I got knocked out about 4 or 5 consecutive weeks in a row. And
Do you lose days?
No, I never lost days as such, but I would finish a game and the next day have no idea what happened in the game. All I know is we either won or we lost, but had no idea of what went on in the match.
MG?
Yeah, that happened to me a lot. I'd say in my 15 years in grade footy, probably 10 times I was, had that deja vu feeling of I've been here before. It's the first thing that happens when you get kind of KO'd. You go, I've been here before. When you get knocked out fully, when you've fallen asleep on the field, that's when you've lost whole track of the whole day.
What about your wives? Do your wives say to you, I told you that already? Do you have those day-to-day moments where you it's not just tiredness because of this job, it's actually, you know what, Matty, I've told you this already, I need you to do that, and you're like,
Don't worry, it's handy for an excuse sometimes, like it's Valentine's Day, wedding anniversaries.
I'm trying to be sensible here.
No, they have. Yeah, she has, Meeks has to me. She goes, I told you that 2 hours ago. What? I don't know. And this is this is pretty scary, to be honest. Now I'm in mid-40s. If you think in 10 years' time we might be having some serious side effects because of the sport we love, that worries me.
Yeah. Look, I've run into, I know a couple of blokes I played with and against. One bloke who, mate, you only have to put him on he could hop on a merry-go-round and be violently sick for a day. And the other one most recently came up to me within a minute period and said the same thing 3 times.
Swamp People, catch it on the A&E channel on Foxtel. A&E is the only cure for amnesia, and one of our favourite shows is called Swamp People.
What a show.
And the king of the swamp, and he really is, him and his sons are on fire, and they're great viewing. Troy Landry, welcome to the Grill Team.
Well, thank you. How y'all doing?
Yeah, great, Troy.
Can you believe the success of the show and how much... You're a celebrity now. Everyone knows you in Australia. You're on fire.
Yeah, you're right, but I went from being just a regular old alligator hunter to now you think people think I'm a real movie star.
How much has it changed? In all seriousness, Troy, you did go from just a normal alligator hunter. Now are you recognised wherever you go in America?
Oh, God, yes, man, big time. It's hard for me to go anywhere and, not have to stop and take a bunch of pictures and all kind of stuff.
Hey, Troy, how do you feel the fact that in Australia, when we show Swamp People, when you talk, they put subtitles up?
They do that over here, too. It's not just in Australia.
How proud are you, Troy? It's not just you, but the fact that your 3 sons, one of them obviously has a desk job and only joins you every now and again, but your other 2 boys, they're doing a great job too. They're keeping the tradition alive.
Oh, yeah. I'm very proud of my boys. They're good workers, they're hard workers, and when I need to lean on them a little bit, when I need the extra help from them, they're always there to help me.
Yeah, you're famous over here for your tag of "See you later, alligator." How many alligators have you caught? What's your record in one day?
I've caught, through the years, thousands of alligators, and the most I've ever caught in one day Clint and I was fishing a few years ago, and we caught 82 in one day.
82?
82 in one day. On
Wow.
that would have been three
82
boats?
in one day now listen to this. This is the most amazing thing. Out of one boat.
On one boat?
Whoa.
God, you must have had to
That's right.
take them back to the buyer and then get back out there again.
Took a team in Magna 3 times that day in a backup boat.
Wow.
But we fished out of fishing, we just fished out of one boat that day.
Troy, mate, there was bloody terrible news on Philip Seymour Hoffman, wasn't it?
That movie star or whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he loved his alligators too.
Sad stuff.
Yep, it was very, very.
Mate, have you ever tried drugs?
What's that?
Have you ever tried drugs, you or your sons? Ever had a drug problem?
Oh, no, I guess not, no.
No.
Lucky.
No, there's no way in hell.
I just want to
There's no way in hell. I'm high. I'm high on life. I mean, I love life. And as long as I wake up in the morning, I'm happy. I don't need no drugs. I never did need no drugs, and I never will need no drugs.
Praise the Lord, brother.
No, that's
Well done,
good,
mate.
Troy, because now you're getting a lot of fame and stuff. You see a lot of people once they start to get in the spotlight a little bit, they start get on the white powder and the eckies and stuff.
No. Troy Landry, I promise you're never going to hear for the rest of your life, you're never going to hear that Troy Landry used drugs or got on drugs or needed drugs, nothing.
Yeah, good man,
Look, Troy, you're the king of the swamp. We love you here, man. Of course, Swamp People. Catch it on the A&E channel on Foxtel. A&E is the only cure for magnesia. Troy, thanks so much for joining us, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure.
It's been a pleasure for me, too, and maybe one day I could come. I might try to come visit y'all over there in Australia.
We'd love that.
Check the tweets. Check the tweets. Check the tweets.
You can get us any time on Twitter at Grill Team about anything you like, and some that have been coming in during the show at Carrot Top on Twitter says Sydney motorists pay up to twice as much for parking compared with some overseas cities. One of the nearest kind of equivalent cities, Boston, $37 a day for parking. In Sydney, $73, even up to $86 for a day's parking.
You know what? I parked not so long ago, about 3 or 4 streets away from where we are here. I didn't know where I was going. I should have left my car exactly here, but it cost me $78 for under 2 hours.
That's ridiculous.
It's an absolute joke. I understand we're in the city, it's prime real estate, but that's absolutely taking the pee.
One of my worst career decisions was when I retired.
Which one was that?
In 2000.
Yeah.
In 2001, I got offered a chance to buy into a parking building at York Street.
A car park.
A car park. And I didn't have the cabbage up front, so that would have been me not working here probably. So...
Oh, well,
Well, swings and roundabouts then.
I'm glad that you didn't have the cabbage up front,
That's
mate,
a
'cause
good
couldn't
story.
do it without you.
But I would have been a multi by now.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, easy.
Would have been.
Because the blokes who bought it are driving around in all these fancy cars, and I'm...
Oh, yeah, you're really
They might be just-
you're
Hey,
really struggling, Super League.
They might be just loosing the cars. Who knows?
Yeah, thank you, Hartley.
They might be doing it
Probably.
tough.
And now you get to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I
and
love
come
it.
and hang out. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's time to check the tweets. Check the tweets. Check the tweets. So check them.
Jack from Emu Plains has sent us one. Great to see MG and Gus out supporting Little Wings, a great cause yesterday at a charity cricket match. Jack says went to get an autograph off Gus, but he left as soon as he got out.
Yeah, well,
Demolished the stumps and left.
I did.
He took his bat and ball. This young bloke in the Roosters jersey was left lamenting.
I had a photo with him.
All he saw was your exhaust pipes.
He was a stalker slightly, but he was a champion
stop it.
bloke.
He
He
was.
loved his cricket, loved his Roosters, and as soon as I got there, every person who asked for an autograph, and believe me, Matty, there was plenty.
Maybe there was a lineup.
They got exactly what they wanted.
He come with his own pen and paper.
I know, but should you be charging people at a charity thing for autographs and photos?
And just strictly, well done to Kevin Robinson and the Little
It was
Wings
a great
team.
setup, and MG opened the bowling with the new pill and bounced his kid a couple of times.
Yeah, well,
I'm sure he didn't mean to bounce him, but he did bounce him.
It's unbelievable. I mean, it was
The
like...
bloke was 11 if
I know,
it was a day.
it was like if the kid's wheelchair got in the way.
It's time to check the tweets.
At
Would you go,
Uno
just
Momento.
quickly, just quickly. And I heard when it hit the wheel, you turned around and it
said,
fell
"How's
for
that?"
LBW.
He was out.
Yeah, got him out. Well done. Good umpiring.
At Uno Memento says, here's some good news for the start of the week. A study at the University of Alabama has found that heart attacks increase by 10 to 20% on Mondays and Tuesdays.
I'm not surprised.
Great news.
Suppose, after having a relaxing weekend and you then have the stress of coming back into work, I can understand that.
I really love Mondays. I hate Tuesdays.
Tuesdays are the worst.
Tuesdays
You
are
hate
the
Mondays?
No, so I love-
sorry, you hate Tuesdays?
Yeah. I think because Sunday you're looking forward to getting back and seeing the boys, and then Tuesday you think, well, that's so far from Friday.
I'm a fan of Thursday and Friday to work and then the weekend off.
Righto. Okay, well, let's do an assessment here. MG, how are you feeling out of 10 today?
I'm feeling probably an 8.
8? Okay, well, every day this week we're going to assess you. Okay, to find out where you peak through the week. Okay.
Give me another coffee on
I got a feeling we've already seen the best of him.
Now, what about this terrible story? A woman, she ran screaming down a hallway, suffering horrific burns after she was set alight at a Haymarket apartment on Saturday night. Now, the neighbours saw the woman flee her Castle Street unit, and she ran through the complex with her upper body on fire around 6:30 p.m. Now, at the moment, the woman's fighting for her life. She's got 60% burns to her body. And police have come out and said they're aware of previous domestic disputes between the couple, saying there was a history of issues between them.
I think she had an AVO on this particular bloke. He's got burns as well, and he's in police custody and hospital as well. So.
He's a 28-year-old male of Thai background, and he was found 20 minutes later after an ambulance was called to Ultimo. Now, geez, when I heard this, I thought, obviously, I thought he's thrown petrol on her, but it was an acid attack. Oh, man, how bad's that? Now, on the line, we've got Professor Gordian Fulda. Now, he works at St Vincent Hospital at the emergency department. Professor, an acid attack, I mean, it sounds very, very rare. In your experience at emergency, do you see much of this?
Well, we unfortunately do see a bit of acid injuries. It's in the building industry, jewellers have it, even schoolboys have it in their chemistry labs. And acid, by its very nature, dissolves tissue, creates heat and intense pain, and then it leaves where deficits in the tissue and leads to really, really horrible scarring that even plastic surgeons have a lot of problem making better.
Wow. Professor, both are horrible, but what's worse, acid or actual fire?
Well, it's both. Right, yeah, really, both are really horrible in that, in the end, it's how much heat you get, how much destruction you get to the tissue. So it all depends on, a little flash of lighter fluid is not going to hurt you that much as somebody tips a cup of acid over your face. And remember, we've got the eyes, for instance, and the eyes are very, very sensitive to even a slight bit of acid or even alcohol, and you're blind. So it's as bad as it gets. It's the most vicious and vehement sort of thing to do to a person.
Yeah, this poor woman has burns to 60% of her body. What kind of recovery can she expect to make, if any?
Well, there's a sort of rule of percentages where you add it up with the age, and that sort of gives you a bit of a chance of what the prognosis is. So if she's a younger lady, 50% is a serious amount of tissue. Some of that will need grafting, but she's got a lifetime of scarring, pain. She should survive, all things being equal, but there's a long way to go and a lot of horrible dressings and all that sort of thing. No, she's going to be in hell for a long time.
Professor, at St Vincent Hospital, the emergency, what's the worst you've seen?
Oh, I can't answer that. No. I mean, if you really want to know what the worst thing is when you have a patient who comes in who you talk to, they talk to you, and you do everything a major hospital can do for them, especially a young patient, and they die in front of your eyes. You take that to your grave.
Yeah, that's...
Professor, thank you for that insight, and we wish the girl, of course, at the moment, all the very best.
And keep up the great work, Doc. Good on you, mate.
Thanks, Doctor.
All the best. Part of a team.
It is time for the big sports all-in, MG.
Yeah, boys, if reports are on the mark that Manly fullback Brett Stewart is out for a month, whoa, big dramas for Manly because they're up 24 before he left on the weekend. He set up a couple of tries, and then all of a sudden, Manly without him looked like a totally different team. In fact, Cameron Smith, when he came out at half-time, he looked around. If you notice in the game, and he looked to see how many players are on. Brett Stewart was off. Yeah, he smiled to himself.
Well, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. When they were 20-0 up, you said, well, I thought they're going to win by 40 or 50 points here, Manly. They were playing so well. And you're right, Brett Stewart comes out. Not only that, they were at 20-0, it started raining.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, Melbourne can't chase this down. And, mate, they pulled him back in. You're right. It's incredible. Of all the stars Manly have got, he's still their most important player.
Well, in the next couple of weeks, they've got Souths, then they've got Eels, then the Roosters. So they could be none from 4.
All soccer fans around the world, and we're talking about football fans here, please leave your managers alone. Point in case, Frank Farina. A month ago, everybody wanted him sacked. signs saying Farina out. Drinks were being poured onto him. Now, back-to-back wins. He won the derby against the Wanderers. Lots of goals being scored, and they're fourth in the ladder.
He's a genius.
He's a genius all of a sudden. You know what? He's not crap, and he's not a genius. He's somewhere in between, which is what everyone is. He's human. He's going to win some, he's going to lose some. They play the top of the table Brisbane at home on Friday night. Win, lose or draw, please leave him alone. Have a look at the players on the field and realise you're going to win some and you're going to lose some. End of story.
Myself and the Hillbilly, we went across yesterday the other side of the ground to give the winner, Scotty, the $20,000 for the $20,000 try after the first try was scored yesterday at ANZ. Well, not long after the first try, Tigers scored a second try. So after 10 minutes, they're 10-0 down. And a Dragons supporter sprints up to me and goes, Matty, sack Steve Price. By the time I get in the car, they're leading 12-10. He's a genius again.
Exactly. And an hour later, he's got 40-odd points, and away we go. Just let the coaches and the managers do the job they've been paid to do. Let them see out their contracts. Let's not sack people because they're going to win and they're going to lose, and that's just the way it is.
Jonathan Thurston, what a genius. Watch him Saturday night. The Raiders were leading 16-0 and he just clicked into another gear. And, man, to watch him Saturday night showed me that he is the greatest player in the game at the moment and on the cusp of becoming the greatest halfback of all time. Now, last year at this time, I said that he would go past Joey as the greatest halfback we've seen. People took that as a shot against Joey, which is absolutely ridiculous. It is a natural progression. Once there was Steve Mortimer, then he was surpassed by Sterlo. Sterlo was surpassed by Alfie. Ricky went past Alfie. Joey went past Ricky. And guess what? Thurston's going to go past Joey. It just happens. And with him leading the Cowboys, I tell you what, the Cowboys are going to go very, very close this year.
Triple M's Supergrass.
Well, the Supergrass is certainly making a splash in Sydney with all these news, and they're making a splash when people are trying to guess who he is. I've had people say to me, is it Jim Wilson, Danny Widler, is it Paul Kent? One person said, is it Cameron Daddo? While another said, is it the old dude from the cartoon Up? Anyway, nonetheless, we've got him on the line, Supergrass.
Very funny, Matty. I caught up with a mate of mine who's a reporter in LA over the weekend who told me two very interesting things. One is that Katy Perry has overtaken Mariah Carey as the most demanding diva in the world. Ooh. A makeup artist on a recent photo shoot with Katy in LA says she wouldn't get changed for the shoot until some kittens were brought to her room.
Mate, that's...
Kittens?
Meow, meow.
Oh, wow. Because now, correct me if I'm wrong, she was engaged to...
Russell Brand. She was married.
Russell Brand.
They were married. They're divorced now.
Married?
They were married, yeah.
What else did the LA bloke tell you, Grassy?
Yeah, that Bono from U2, his favourite gift to give to people is an iPod loaded with nothing but U2 music. Apparently a real regular gift that he gives to everyone.
Boys, just a question. You know when people sometimes are so world famous for such a long time they go mad? Has he crossed over to the other side, Bono?
By the sounds of it, yeah.
Last week I mentioned Ben Fordham leaving the Today Show at the end of the year. The hot favourite to replace him is Erin Molan as they try and remove some blokiness out of the Today Show. Now this has been further confirmed after the Nine News team complained to management last week about her role on the Footy Show and the damage that they believe is being done to her news credibility.
Yeah, look, I'm all for women in rugby league, but you know when I saw Erin as a new host of the Footy Show, I don't even know if she's comfortable with that.
Mate, I think Erin Molan does. I reckon she is unbelievable at news, and her knowledge of rugby league is absolutely outstanding. The Footy Show, it's a variety show. It's a variety show, which may not be the best avenue for her.
Yeah.
The Voice filming is happening at the moment. It's at Sydney's Entertainment Quarter. Now, the green room is actually 400 metres from the actual stage where the performances take place. They do have a golf buggy there for the judges to ride over on. However, all the judges just walk the 400 metres unless it's incredibly bad weather, except for one. Will.i.am has demanded that he be chauffeur-driven the 400 metres from the green room to the stage.
Oh, come on, mate.
Bono's got to Bono land.
Pull your head in, champ.
Don't like him.
Come on, mate.
Isn't he Black Eyed Peas?
Mate, the Black Eyed Peas used to be good. What sellouts now?
Come on, champ.
Finally, boys, the Olympic TV rights expected to be announced in late April. Channel 9 is out of the race. It's down to Channel 7 and Channel 10. It'll be whoever can partner a deal with Foxtel.
Oh, yeah. Big decisions to be made.
You see in the Olympics that they're saying that they're trying to... They're saying that the Olympics should not take place at 2020 at Tokyo.
Why?
You see that? They're saying because of the nuclear fallout. They say it's...
I hear there's a lot of leakages going on at the moment.
Leakages. It could be a disaster waiting to happen. Wow. Anyway, that's a whole different story. Thanks for that, Supergrass.
Darren Hinch, boys, he is out of jail. Rather than pay the record $100K fine for contempt of court, he spent 50 days in jail, and we have him on the line. Darren, welcome back to Freedom.
The gentlemen, good morning.
Mate, what sort of jail were you in? People have been saying up here in Sydney that it might have been a bit of a country club, or was it a proper jail as we sort of know in the movies?
The second jail I was in was a bit like a three-star country club, I suppose. But the first one I was in for 2 weeks. I spent 2 weeks in a Melbourne prison, the assessment prison, and they had me in solitary confinement, maximum security for 23 hours a day. So I got out for exercise 1 hour a day. I was in the same floor, same jail, about 2 cells away from the guy I now call JMK, Jill Maher's killer. And so we were doing the same sort of sentence. You're so locked up, you have no watch. I have no idea. Your food is sent through a slot in the door like in those American movies.
Yeah.
And I tell you, I knew that I watched a lot of tennis because that was the early days of my lockup, and because I could watch the Rolex clock on centre court.
Oh, wow.
At the time, and it really screwed me up when they had replays.
Hey, Darren, how does Darren Hinch get treated when he goes to jail by the other cons?
The other cons. Well, look, the guards were fantastic through the whole thing, and a lot of them, they're not meant to comment, but they'd whisper to me and say things like, we support your cause, good on you, because they see what goes on in there. Yeah. The second prison I was in was called Langi Kalkal in country Victoria, which is a 3,000-acre prison farm, but 93% of the people there are sex offenders, so parts of it are pretty creepy, but some of them would talk to me, some of them wouldn't. The sex offenders all said they were armed robbers. But it was grubby. I didn't ever feel unsafe, I must admit. But geez, it dragged.
Hey, Darren, you've been very outspoken, and rightfully so, against some of these. You talk about grubby, these rock spiders. Mate, did you ever come face to face with any of these grubs in there?
Oh, heaps of them. I mean, some of them, the worst ones got locked up in a sort of the old farm mansion, which has now been turned into a sort of a boarding house. But during the day, they were free to walk around. Man. And they'd drop in and start walking with me, some of them. Some awful, and you didn't ask what they were there for, but on my last night was the worst one because there was a guy called the Hot Chocolate Rapist was not only had been moved into that prison that day, which amazed me because he's still got 2 years to go on his sentence, and this is meant to be just before you're released sort of prison. So I don't know what he's doing there, but he was right in my unit within 2 feet of me, and that gave me the creeps. I really started to get the sweats. But
I bet.
The funny one of the 7% who wasn't a sex offender, he was walking with me one night and introduced himself, and he said he was in for fraud. Next day, somebody says to me, I see you're associating with a mob now. Oh, wow. And I said, why? No, and they said, that guy you were walking with last night, yeah, he wasn't for fraud, but he was Fat Tony Mockbell's bookkeeper or money launderer.
Oh, wow.
Darren, it's not the first time you've been behind bars, mate. No. Will you do it again for a cause? Will you go back to jail if it means you believe in something so strongly? And obviously this time was for contempt of court, but we all follow you. We all watch what you do, and I think every Joe Blow would say, well, why wouldn't you do that if you really believe in it?
Well, I'd never say never. I mean, I've had a liver transplant 2 years ago, and I said at the time when they locked me up, I said, I was meant to be dead 2 years ago, so they can't hurt me, but I'll never say never, depending on what the cause is. I plan now to try and get this petition for a national public register for convicted sex offenders. I mean, I know what they look like. I've been there. I know what they look like. You don't. Your family doesn't. Your kids don't. It could be your next-door neighbour. And they've had this law in the United States since 1996. They've got a similar one in Britain. And it may take another 5 years, but it'll happen here.
Oh, wow. Now,
well, I think, why wouldn't it? Why can't it happen here?
Imagine, you get one that moves in next door to you, and you've got 2 young kids.
Mate, seriously. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I think we should have a law set up for people that aren't nasty and that are doing the right thing and go against people that are doing the wrong thing, surely.
Mate, yeah.
What about Fat Tony and Kay? You spoke about having a chat and a walk around the farm with the bookkeeper. It's been a huge success for Channel 9, and Carl Williams has been a part of that. Can we play you a little bit of audio when he rang in on your show in Melbourne? Here we go.
This was on 3AW.
How do you make your money?
This isn't about how I make money.
How do you afford to pay $300 a night in a hotel? How do you make your money?
The price wasn't that, Darren, so...
Okay. If it's $100 a night, how do you, Carl Williams, earn a quid?
Oh, I earn a quid through commissions. What do you mean, commission? I have a gamble, so I bet on horses for people. I get jewellery for people. I do a lot of odds and ends. So
You get jewellery for people? What, you steal it?
no, I don't steal it. No, I'm not a thief. I don't sell drugs. This is Victorian police corruption.
Hang on. What, they Mr. Williams, they haven't come looking for Darren Hinch. They haven't come looking for Darren Hinch. They're looking for Carl Williams.
My things will be sorted out through in court, and that's when they'll be sorted out. Okay. Thanks very much, no.
They haven't come looking for Darren Hinch.
Oh, yeah. See you later.
I remember that one. He hung up on me in the end.
Hey, Darren, why did he call in the first place? Were you up him?
I'd attacked him somewhere. I think it called him. He called in. Once Mick Gatto called me up and it called me a maggot, and I said something like to him. He called in and I said, look, to go to my grave being called a maggot by a person like Mick Gatto, I said, I'll be honoured. He said, yeah, I hope you go to your grave soon.
Oh,
so I said, you're the sort of person who put me there, and then you plead self-defence.
Wow. Do you seriously fear for your life sometimes, Hinchy?
I used to joke that I didn't fear for my life, but I just get my wife to start the car in the mornings.
That's not a bad idea.
I'll tell you what, you've gone a long way. People won't recognise you when you got out of jail. You've described yourself as looking like Robert Mitchum, Frankie J. Holden, and Kevin Sheedy all right in one. You look so different without the beard, but we're glad you're out, brother, and we're glad you're on the grill team.
The beard started regrowing yesterday.
Okay.
Mate, I tell you, you look $1 million compared to how you looked a couple of years ago. Fair dinkum each other, you're Gonski.
Hey, guys, back then when I was really sick, I looked like Rock Hudson 3 days before he died of AIDS.
Okay.
Well,
we'll move on. Thank you very much, Hinchy. Good to have you back, and thanks for being on the grill team.
Tell you, mate.
Interesting comparison, Hinchy. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Hinchy.
Guys, how was the weekend? How'd you go? Enjoy it?
Yeah, not too bad. Had played a lot of cricket, charity cricket for Little Wings with
good boys.
MG. Did a bit of running, played cricket myself for the Mullets.
It's funny because what happened, right?
Quite one.
What we did, get any strange phone calls on the weekend? Were any guys were getting trolled or anything?
It was a little weird. I got people sort of moaning and groaning at me. In the end, I just switched my phone off.
Yeah, same. I had prankers all weekend just screaming at me.
What happened? Woody and myself and Paigey come up with an idea. We got Woody and all those desperates from the Rock Patrol to put posters all around the city. Out front of businesses, shop fronts, telegraph poles, you name it, they were there. One of them said, win $100, Chewbacca impersonation competition. Call now with your impersonation. We put Gus's number. And on the other one, win $100, screaming competition. Call now with your best scream, people. And we put MG's number.
So who came up with this idea?
Woody.
Yeah, Woody.
Let's go with Woody.
Let's have a listen firstly to MG's phone.
G'day, it's MG here. Sorry I've missed your call, but leave a message and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Bye-bye.
No wonder you switched your phone off.
Yeah, that would be annoying.
Then you turn the phone on and you listen to all them back, and it's quite funny, to be honest.
Yeah, how annoying at the time.
Well, the first couple of times was a bit scary.
You reckon that's annoying? Now you got off light. Have a listen to Gussie and people ringing up with their best Chewbacca impersonations.
G'day, it's Gus here. Can't get to the phone at the moment. Please leave your name and number, and I'll get back to you shortly. Thank you.
I'm sure it's Shaggy.
Outstanding. That's very good. Is Gus's mobile number printed on that?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. It's about to be my old number.
0409.
Yeah, I'll give
475 23.
Mate, it's not going to be my number for long, so don't worry. Yes, we get very special guests into the grill team, but this is like one of our little sisters, I reckon. Stephanie Rice.
By the way, Gus dated his little sister for a while. She's 12 years junior.
Now, Steph, how are you?
Really, really well.
It's good to have you in.
Thank you.
Now, you're looking a little different.
Really?
Yes, your nose.
What do you think's changed?
Well, I believe your nose is very different to how it used to be. I mean, you're a good sort to start with, but you're even better Now, have you done it because you wanted to look better, or have you done it to clear the sinuses,
I did
sort
it
that
for
out?
every reason possible. I mean, I broke my nose swimming, which I'm probably the first person ever to do.
Would you bang it on a
I was
lane
doing
race?
backstroke and there was no flags and I was racing and I so flicked my head back to see where the wall was and just smashed the wall. So ever since then, it completely screwed all my sinuses and the chlorine gave me so many allergies and everything like that. So I did originally have it fixed for like cosmetic and medical procedures. So I'm really excited and I really love the result. And I can't believe how much attention it's got. Like, it's like my shoulder was leading into the Olympics.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, I mean, let's be honest, people don't go in there to get their to get the clear out and everything like that and come out with a bigger nose. Like, you always go, listen.
You always want to make it look
Let's
better.
not make it bigger.
Yeah.
Let's just make it a little bit better. What else you been doing? Steph, what have you up to?
Well, so I basically started managing myself about 5 months ago. And so since then, I'm probably the first person to actually start like a team of people for myself, like a bit of an entourage. So I'm really liking the new management sort of thing that I've got going. So I basically...
who's in the posse?
Any
Who's in the posse?
I've got
members?
a few people. So Serena and Daniel, and I'm bringing on another girl at the moment. So 3 people working in my team, which I love. Like, I absolutely love.
You like being in control.
I love being in control.
That explains the handcuffs she brought with her today.
Oh, behave yourself.
They're
Why
for
are they
later.
pink and frilly?
Mate, that's during the news.
Okay, yeah. So then that must be unbelievable. I mean, a lot of people in your position and would like to be in that position to get their mates on board and say, you know, come with me and look after me.
You'd earn about 18% more money that way as well, wouldn't
Well, I mean, it's different. It's totally different. It's a bit of a risk in terms of like I have to pay now people to be employed, but I don't have the commission, which generally is the structure with a manager. So it's completely different. But for me, I really did it for long term because I'm starting a kids swimwear company, which will launch at the end of the year called Race. And that's pretty much what my real focus is in terms of business.
Steph, any more, would you consider any more plastic surgery at all? You know, you got
Look
the
at you
nose
go.
or anything? No, I mean, would you consider...
I don't know.
you don't
Like,
have
I said in who, like, I'm not pro, but I'm not against. Like, if something was to all of a sudden happen and I thought that was the right decision, then fine. But I
Don't
just think...
become like one of those...
No, I
you know
never.
what I mean? Those
I think
women.
there's. Oh, you can't. There's a massive point of going too far. But like, I'm pretty happy at the moment with, I guess, how I look.
Yeah, Gus is going under the nose next week to have
you
his,
go?
Under the nose? You
deviated-
said under the nose?
He's going to...
have his deviated septum fixed.
Can you stick around, please? Because I've got a little quiz for you.
A bit of
There's
these
liposuction.
quizzes
been
always
some
go
rumours,
down
there's been some
well.
rumours about you, Steph, and I need to clear
Really?
it up.
Okay.
Yes, and we're very lucky to have Stephanie Rice in with us, our little sister. How are you today?
Good. Really
Okie
good.
dokie. Now, I want to, a female...
Jeez, I tell you what, that's groovy.
I just want a female...
Our little sister. As I said before, you dated your little sister for a while.
I haven't got a sister.
Yeah, well, that's convenient.
Okay. We would like a female opinion on something, please, Steph. Okie dokes. Do you know Eric Stone Street? He plays Cameron
Yes.
in Modern Family.
Love
the big,
him.
the big gay guy
guys
in the
look
show.
similar.
Looks a bit like Gussie.
Yeah.
It does. Very similar.
He plays a gay man in the show, but he's actually straight in real life.
I know.
Now, it's the complete opposite of you.
Now, over the weekend, it's come out that Sammy Armitage from the Sunrise on Channel 7 and him have been having a little bit of an affair, in inverted commas, on Instagram and on Twitter and on Facebook.
I know where this is going.
Do you find Eric Stone Street attractive, like the bigger,
His
funnier man?
personality is super attractive.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, to look at, not so much, but like his personality on the show is ridiculously hilarious that you would be like wanting to spend time with that.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to ask you. Chicks are digging the bigger man, and with a...
Are you trying to make yourself feel better?
With a sense of humour.
Who said
Ask
that?
me right... So I want to ask you right now, am I any chance at all, Steph?
Oh, of course. Do we need to notify a few people first?
with Eric Stone Street,
only the family, but...
Yeah, like, no worries.
3 kids and my wife, but other than that, hey, leave that to me, Steph.
Your
I'll take
wife's
your number.
going to hate me in a bit.
No,
Are you saying you any chance, what, with Steph or Eric Stone Street?
Or Sam Armitage.
Gussie, tell us the story about the Japanese girls that saw you before the show. They like the big man.
Yes, there was a couple of Japanese girls. They might have had a couple of drinks because it was 4:45 in the morning. They came up to where MG and I have a cup of coffee down at Pie Face here at World Square.
Do the accents.
And she came up and she go, I love a big man. And she was giving me a bit of a cuddle. And I was a little bit embarrassed, but I sort of went, what about MG? You know, he's a big man too. They went, tu masli. I like a bigger, fatter man. And that is why I'm a big deal in
Because
Tokyo.
the Japanese have got a really morbid streak.
Yeah.
I reckon once they got you in the bedroom, I would have loved to have seen the stuff they would have done to you.
Top 5 dudes.
Oh,
Behave yourself. Top 5 dudes that are batting well above their average. Lyle Lovett went out with Julia Roberts. That was a bit
Never,
weird.
he was a country singer.
Yeah, he was world's ugliest man. Billy Joel and Christy Brinkley. Seal
Bill.
and Heidi Klum. Because what do you think of Seal? Is he a bit...
yeah, like
Fascinating.
I'm not one to really look at, like not my type, but he definitely did well with Heidi. But he was amazing. Like his songs are amazing, so that makes them attractive.
And having a bit of cash and having a bit of personality.
and I think it's the power as well.
Okay, well, let's talk about a couple of blokes that you've been linked with over the years.
Oh, amazing. There's been quite a few, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Well, look, all you have to do is just say yay or nay to this, okay? To these.
I have or haven't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Have you had romantic links with these men?
Okay.
Eamon Sullivan.
I would hope so.
Yes.
2 years.
That's a yes.
2 years, yes.
Michael Phelps.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Man.
Well played.
That's well done.
Kobe Bryant.
Just quickly, was he a nice guy, Michael Phelps?
He's really lovely. Really, he's matured, I think, as well.
Apparently
over
loves
the
the
years
Hong
as well.
Kongs.
Like marijuana?
Oh, he was on the bongs, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's right. I mean,
he's an Olympic
each to
champion.
their own. MG, you know that.
He was having a crack.
What's
Kobe Bryant.
What's Kobe Bryant like?
That one really annoyed me. Really
That
annoyed me.
was through the London Olympics, wasn't it?
Yeah.
People spoke about that.
And so disappointing to think that people would presume that I would be with someone that's married as well. That really got to me, especially because Kobe and I have this amazing friendship, and it was so great to meet people at the Olympics that are also the top of their field, and I'm naturally surrounded by heaps of people like that. So
You even had one of your own members of your Australian team, the basketballer, Liz Cambridge, saying something about you on social media, which must have hurt as well.
Well, yeah, it was disappointing because, I mean, for one, I've never met her before. So for her to just go out and presume and really take a stab, it was quite nasty, the stuff that she was saying. It wasn't just having her opinion. I thought that was a bit uncalled for. But there's always going to be jealousy, you know?
He's a good basketballer, though, isn't he?
Oh, he's pretty amazing.
Kobe, unbelievable. What about Quade Cooper?
Of course.
Yeah,
How long with Quade?
A year.
Was he a nice guy? You like Quade?
Yeah, Quade's a good guy. He has a good heart. I think he's still finding himself a little bit.
What about Rob Mills?
No.
No nibble with Millsy?
No nibble with Millsy.
Lincoln Lewis?
Yes.
Wally Lewis's son?
Yeah, we dated for a few months.
Okay.
He's a good guy.
Back in 2008.
He's a nice guy, huh?
Yeah, he's a lovely guy.
Yeah, nice guy. Sorry, any more there, Gus?
One more.
Oh, geez, you've been busy.
Hello. Come on.
She's a young girl.
These are the only people on my list too.
Sam Burgess?
No.
George Burgess?
No, but that came
Tom
out.
Burgess?
No,
George
none of the
Burgess.
Burgess boys.
No.
I'm a Burgess boy virgin.
Mrs. Burgess?
Philip Seymour
No,
Hoffman.
staying away from her.
Philip Seymour Hoffman?
No, unfortunately.
No.
No.
So
way.
you're single at the moment?
Single at the moment and loving it.
Okay, so if you walk into a nightclub, just hypothetically, what is the man that you look for? What's the without talking to somebody, because you don't know what they're saying, but
first of
what
all,
do you
don't
look
really like people that I meet in a nightclub
okay,
because it's not really what I'm looking
I'm being
for.
hypothetical.
But I look for someone that is confident and can hold their own. I'm very confident, and I need someone to match up to that. So they need to be pretty powerful or have their own shit going on. I don't want someone that is still trying to, figure out what they want to do. And so I like someone that's established, which usually means that they're a bit older. So Gus, you're in for a chance.
So, there you go.
Like tall, short, chubby.
They need to be taller than me as well. None of this, Look at you smirking over there, Gus.
6'2", do you know?
How much you weighing at the moment, Gus?
I'm in at 126.4.
Wow.
How much is that you've lost?
Basic bulimic.
I've gone from 138.9, so I'm on my way.
I noticed there's no pastries in here this morning.
No.
He ate them all.
And he's trying
Hey, Steph, thank you so much for coming in. It's great to see you as always. Hopefully you can pop
Thank
back
you.
again soon.
Yeah, of course. Thanks, guys.
$20,000.
Yes, what a massive day yesterday at the footy, and a huge thank you to our great mates at My Plates for making it all possible. My Plates, footy fans, show your support with an NRL number plate featuring your favourite team from myplates.com.au. $20,000 to give away, and this is how it went down yesterday.
30-metre liners. Bodine Thompson gets up.
Got number 4, Gerard Bill. Fingers crossed he gets the first try scorer and we win the game, go the Saints.
If I was to win the money today, I would take Jason out for a great dinner and I would take my family for a white Christmas.
Barrett dummy half goes open left to Woods, passes before the line to Brooks.
My name's Daniel Wright from Canleyvale. I'm trained from Dragons. I go to Vegas in a couple of months, so we'll be partying up with 20 grand.
Lovely pass to Desco. Draws the bid. Beautiful pass. Pat Richards. Fullback.
Triple M try-scoring winner is Scott Fitzpatrick from Cowder. Scott, you've won $20,000 thanks to Pat Richards.
Scotty, how quick was that? 5 minutes.
No, they didn't mess around at all, did they?
Well, the boy is come back from Wigan, the prodigal son. What are you going to do with the 20 grand, brother?
Might go out the 69 Mulgoa Road.
Yeah.
Take her out, bit of sizzler.
You can't afford her.
Yes.
With 20 pounds.
We've got the winner in here with us now. Scotty Fitzpatrick, how are you, champion?
Mate, couldn't be better.
Now, before we start talking about how great a feeling you have this morning, let's hook you up with Pat Richards, who actually scored the try for you. Paddy, you're back from Wigan. Have a chat to Scott because you've made him $20,000 richer.
Good morning, Paddy.
Hey. How you going, guys?
Hey, Paddy. Mate, you probably weren't aware yesterday as you were running in for that first try, but our mate here, Scotty, just he's 20 grand richer. You want to snip it all, Pat?
Yeah, mate, I wouldn't mind. He fits you out next time.
Yeah, he will.
Hey, now,
Not a problem.
Scotty, we got Pat there. Mate, what would you like to say to Pat?
Paddy, I love you.
Yeah!
Thanks, mate. I owe you a beer.
Well,
Pat, mate.
Well, Paddy, hey, mate, really appreciate you joining us. Congratulations, you've had a great career so far. Man of Steel last year at Wigan, and good to see you back in the NRL, mate, and hopefully results will go a little bit better for the Tigers.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Yeah, unfortunate the result yesterday, but we'll move on.
Mate, well, you made one bloke happy. Good on you, Paddy.
Thank you, Paddy.
See you, brother.
Scotty, speaking of that, you said you're going to go and see old Deb at 69 Mulgoa Road. I'd be careful about that. Well, what are you going to spend the $20,000?
Probably go, I'd need knee operation, so I'll probably go get that done.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and just general bills.
Are you married? Are you a married man, mate?
Yeah, the boss is out there.
Yeah, you better look after her.
So I didn't say that Debbie thing.
While I was interviewing Scotty yesterday, the phone was ringing and the boss was on the line. She was wanting to know what jewellery she was going to get, son.
There you go.
Exactly.
Well, mate,
So,
fantastic
who's your
feeling.
team? Who do you follow, bud?
The doggies.
Okay.
Geez, they played well Friday night.
No comment.
Anyway, hey, Scotty, congratulations. Thank you to Pat Richards, and most importantly, thank you to My Plates.
Yes.
Yes, a big
really,
thank you
really
to
good
My Plates.
promotion and a great way to get the season underway.
It's been the huge news all weekend. Quite unbelievable, this Malaysian Airlines flight that has literally disappeared.
Exactly
and still
right.
not to be found.
That's right. There's possible aircraft debris spotted this morning, but we're still not 100% sure, Paige. It happened between 2 and 3 a.m. early Saturday morning Australian time. A Malaysian airline flight between Kuala Lumpur and Beijing just disappeared, Matty.
How does that happen?
36,000 feet, gone.
Well, you're starting to...
No
the
mayday
obvious
call.
question is, the old days of the Bermuda Triangle, but nowadays with satellites, and how does that happen? Well, if you start to connect the dots and they're talking about the threat of terrorism, there's the 2 passports for those guys that got on in Malaysia, combined with the fact that they think they're starting to find debris. There's every chance, unfortunately, that it has just exploded.
Yeah, 6 Australians, unfortunately, that were on board. And talking about those passports, 2 people that were meant to be on, they're actually living somewhere else in the world, one in Europe and one in Asia.
Yeah.
So their passports were stolen a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So people use those to be on the plane. That's why there's such a threat around the terrorism side of things.
I think we're quite right at the moment to fear the worst, Gus.
We now want to speak to Patrick Smith. He's a flight officer. He's our aviation expert. Good morning to you, Patrick.
Well, good morning, all.
Now, we're waking up to the news that we're still trying to find the debris, and we still can't believe in this day and age that the plane could just vanish like that. Could you explain to us how that may happen?
Well, there's 2 schools of thought. The fact that the flight deck crew wasn't able to get off a mayday via any kind of communications leads initially at this point, since everything's on the table, to either a catastrophic breakup in flight due to a malfunction of the plane itself, or the potent potential of some sort of terrorist attack.
Which would be our worst nightmares.
Yeah, it is. I know Interpol's working on it right now. There were some passports on that flight that had been stolen from some Europeans, and I think they're looking at several more. And but it really is speculation at this point. I've always hated to
of course,
to guess. I know the search field right now is moving further west towards some of the jungles there in northern Malaysia, so they might find something on the ground versus water.
Patrick, absolutely, as MG just said, everyone's worst nightmare, particularly I imagine for someone who flies. Have you ever feared that you might have been in control of a plane that was potentially with a terror threat?
Well, no. September 11th was a little close to home, but I've never had to deal with it. We've got pretty good protocols in place, especially in the States, and I know customs in Australia is pretty well on top of their game. I'd start looking at maybe a little weakness in the Malaysian screening process. And Interpol knew those 2 passports were stolen, and the question I'd like to ask is the one I get is, did Malaysia research that database?
Absolutely.
As we believe as we speak to you right now, you're sitting in the cockpit of an aeroplane about to go in half an hour. What kind of thoughts are going through your mind?
Just every day, there's some consideration, but we talked about it this morning. About a little heightened awareness on ourselves, but there is no heightened awareness here in the States other than I think it's kind of in everybody's at the back of our minds. Everything is normal SOP right now.
Patrick, mate, you said about the screening process of Malaysia, which brings up countries at the moment which you would be suspect of their screening policies. In the 80s, of course, there was Greece. There was a lot of terrorism happening out of the airport in Athens. What about now? Apart from Malaysia, where in the world do you think there are problems with screening?
Well, I don't know if it's the Malaysian pilots. It might have been a breakdown, like I said, and they'll look into this. And I'm only hypothesizing here that they didn't pick those 2 passports. And my understanding from reading data this morning that they're looking at several other passports. But that particular plane had a wing damaged, a wing tip. And so it had a little bit of damage, and that was one of my thoughts, was that plane had other damage they might have missed. I highly suspect they didn't. Boeing's pretty good about fixing things properly.
Look, Flight Officer Patrick Smith, thank you very much for that insight, and fly well this morning, mate. Hope everything goes well with you.
Pleasure, and I'll be down in your part of the world here in about 4 days for holidays. So thank you very much.
Go you, buddy.
Look forward to seeing you then, Patrick. All the best.
Now, last night on Channel 7's Sunday night program, Peter Fitzsimons conducted an interview with one of Rugby League's true warriors, Ian Roberts. And Ian Roberts is a man who's been a genuine trailblazer in Australian sport. He was one of the first of the truly full-time professional footballers. And while the world at the moment is in raptures about the courage of American sports stars who are now coming out announcing they are gay, Ian Roberts, let's not forget, he did it 20 years ago.
Yep.
And now he's the first rugby league player to come out and announce, I am brain damaged, as he did on the show last night. Now, I think last night was a game changer for the game. If you think Sonny Bill Williams' possible suspension for a shoulder charge is excessive, watch this interview. I guarantee it'll change your opinion. And we've got Ian Roberts on the line right now. Robbo, welcome to the Grill Team.
Hey, fellas, how are you?
Hey, good, brother.
Ian, mate, unbelievable interview last night. I'm sitting there with my oldest son, who's a rugby league player, and boy, oh boy, it hit home. When did you start to think, hang on, something's wrong here?
It's kind of weird, Matty. When I was at school, I used to have problems with English, like maths, but not maths, with reading and spelling. I was always good at maths and science, and I actually thought. I've been acting now for 10 years, and I've done a degree since I retired from footy, and I've been over in the States for the last 4 or 5 years. And I think as you get older, you just every so often, we all do it. You're like, what's that fellow's name? Who's that guy? What's his name? And it was just me checking myself every so often. And then when Channel 7 approached me, about the story and about concussion and the long process that it can take to come out and show in people the delayed responses, I just said, I'll be involved in that, because I think kids should empower themselves and know about the situation. If they get a head knock on the field or whatever and they're not feeling good, it's okay to put your hand up and just tell the coach or tell the coaching staff or parents that they're not feeling well. Unfortunately, I think too many times kids get told just to shake it off and get back out there.
Yeah. Big Iron, mate, it's great to talk to you. I haven't seen you for a long time, but we always speak about you on the show, and most times it's when we speak about tough rugby league players. Mate, we used to consider a knockout or a head knock back in our day as a bit of a badge of honour if you went back on the field, but I suppose similar to the dangers of smoking and sunbaking, rugby league is going to be profoundly changed after, as Maddie mentioned, this is a game changer.
It's very much, mate. The results are in, mate. There are resources out there now that not only teachers but like adults, anyone within the medical staff and coaches, and that should all be aware that this is what the results are. There are long-term effects now. It's been proven. I heard your interview with Fitzy yesterday, and can I just say, guys, I was a bit shocked when I was driving up the M1 yesterday when I heard the interview, and if I could have phoned in, I would have. When Fitzy said that that Ian Roberts is an actor who's in Hollywood and he can't remember his lines, nothing could be further from the truth. I never even said anything like that in the interview with Fitzy. I was really quite surprised he was sensationalised as much as he did. What I said to him is that every so often you'll do lines and you'll wake up the next day and say, oh, Jesus, I've got to do those lines again now. And that's basically all it was. Okay. But so I just want to put that out there. I don't have dementia. I was quite shocked that Fitzy was saying all that. I wanted to get involved with this because I think there's a message there for kids. Kids need to be able to, not feel embarrassed about putting their hands up if they've taken a knock on the field and they're not feeling well. It's okay, to say, I want to come off or whatever. And parents should be aware of the situation as well.
Ian, do you think that fans of, if we're talking about the NRL here, professional rugby league, I'm a fan of my team. Do I have to understand as a fan now that, hey, it's not a lack of toughness that my player has to go off with their head knocked? Because in the past you go, get up, come on, fire up, Now we've got to understand.
These are unseen injuries, you know what I mean? It's like it's not a broken leg. It's not something you can see, and it's obvious. Like I keep saying, the results are in now. Let me just say this: concussion is brain damage, and that's where this whole brain damaging has come from. Concussion is a form of brain damage. So I just want to put that out there. So really, any kids who are taking concussions, it is brain damage.
Robbo, watching the interview last night, and rugby league is a conveyor belt in the fact that the person that, the people that you're cheering for now move on and someone replaces them. What people don't see is what happens to the guys they used to cheer for 15, 20 years ago. And I'm starting to see these guys, Robbo. I'm starting to see guys who you admired, I admired, guys that we played with and played against. And there's too many of them. There's a vacancy in their eyes and there's a brittleness in their handshake. They are not the same. And mate, congratulations, because what you've come out and done, mate, you brought something right into the spotlight that's way overdue.
And that's exactly why I wanted to get involved, matey. I just think it's a topic now that's going to have repercussions for such a long time. And I keep saying that the results are in. You take a concussion, then you've had brain damage, and all of us, we've all been there. We've all been in those situations. We like I was saying earlier, what is that fella's name? Fitzy was doing it yesterday. He was trying to recall information about the interviews he'd done. He couldn't recall any of their names.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
What I mean?
Hey, mate, great to hear your voice, big fella. Don't be a stranger. I'd love to talk to you again soon, and thank you very much for being so candid with us this morning.
Thanks for the invite, guys.
Yeah, we just had a compelling chat to an ex-teammate of both mine and Matty's and an ex-opponent as well, who over the weekends come out and stated that he had brain damage through concussion after concussion. We've asked for your calls on 133353 to tell us your stories about it or thoughts about it. As Glenn from Blacktown will kick us off. G'day, Glenny.
Yeah, how you going, Mark?
Yeah, good, buddy. What are your thoughts, mate?
Mate, I reckon we should make it compulsory for all kids to wear headgear, mate.
You know, Glenn, the thing about headgears actually stop like a cut. It'll stop a bit of if you get a knock, it'll stop it hurting a little bit. But as far as a brain injury is concerned, like the sort of headgears they use when they're sparring and boxing, it doesn't actually stop these type of concussions. There's a little
the brain still rattles.
The brain still rattles, and still it's the movement in the brain that causes the concussion, Glenn. And in fact, the other side of the coin, the American football, the reason why they've got such a problem in the American football is because of the helmet. The front part of the brain pushing up against the helmet.
Helmet on helmet. What about Aaron from Maroubra? Hey, Aaron.
How you going, boys?
G'day, Az.
What are your thoughts?
You there?
Yeah, mate. What are your thoughts, Aaron?
Mate, I was just going to say, I played football for a fair few years, and when they, obviously I played, same thing, concussion wasn't taken that seriously, and you'd get concussed straight after the game. What do? All the boys get together and we'd all go out and drink grog.
Aaron, unbelievable,
Which is
isn't it?
another bad thing, right?
I remember once playing in a game, and you're trying to always impress your older teammates. And I copped a whack, got concussed, went off. They put 14 stitches above my eye, went out there 5 minutes later and finished the game. And it's just what you did. And after the game, one of the older players come put his arm around me and said, "Mate, you're all right," gave me a beer. And we got on the grog. And you look back at that now and you go, "Mate, it's insanity."
Guys, can I ask you before we go to Sean in Campbelltown, your son MG is playing a reasonable high level for his age of footy right now. Both boys play at a younger age rugby league. Are you at all concerned hearing from what you've heard in the Sunday night program last night and from Ian Roberts, whether you want your boys to play at all?
How can you not be?
Yeah, and especially when my oldest boy Logan has had a concussion in his life. You know, it was a mild one. But
will you stop him playing?
No, I won't.
Okay. Will you stop your boys playing, Matty?
I won't stop them because they're young men now and it's their lives. But I sat down and watched the show with them last night and made sure they see the risks that are involved.
So you give them all the opportunity to make their own call. Is that where you're basically coming from?
Oh, yeah.
And we used to laugh as footballers, boxers, 60 days they give off when they get off when they have a concussion.
Well, if they've been knocked out, they can't fight for a certain amount of time.
60 days. Now we'll head down the same path, no doubt.
And is it good or bad that we're doing that?
It's really, really good.
You got to put player welfare ahead of results.
Let's go to Campbelltown and speak to Sean. Sean, you've heard from the boys. What are your thoughts?
Well, I feel a bit crook after hearing that interview with Ian Roberts, guys. Just hearing him speak, I'm the same in a lot of lines as him. Bumped into a mate recently, and we played a lot of junior league together. I couldn't remember him. You know what I mean? This is a childhood friend. I remember one season when I was about 18, I copped, I think it was about 5 weeks in a row, copped some serious head knock.
Wow.
I can't, we had a phone call come through for a contractor for the house the other week. Half an hour later, I've forgotten all about the phone call. I forgot to tell the missus.
Wow.
I'm forgetting kids' friends' names. I feel a bit crook, guys.
Sean, last night let's just point out here, Ian Roberts, this is not a hunch from Ian Roberts. Ian Roberts went and got tested on the show with an expert, and the expert told him the news that there is damage there.
Let's go to Will and Bondi to finish it off.
Sean should do the same. Go and get checked, buddy.
Absolutely, Sean. Thanks for being so honest with us, mate. Will and Bondi, how are you?
Yeah, good boys. How are you?
Hey, Willie.
Hey, Will.
Basically last year I was having an all right season of footy, and I got concussed 2 times in one game.
Yeah.
I didn't put my hand up, and I thought I was sweet, and went back and played the next week, which was stupid on my part. And then I got concussed in the first half of one of our games, and then kept playing, and then 5 minutes into the second half, I got completely knocked out.
How old are you? How old are you, Will?
22.
Wow.
Do you still play, Will?
I played. It's funny. I played just Saturday past, and I got concussed again.
Wow. How's that affected you, Will?
Well, basically, I just think my mind state isn't the same as it used to be.
How so?
Mood swings, and you seem a little bit up and down. Even my mates sometimes say, is everything all right? How's your head? Everyone's trying to,
Will, you got to go see something. Mate, I'm telling you right now, mate, you got to go see someone about this. I've seen it in a couple of instances, mate, exactly what you're talking about. I've had mates who have had significant knocks to the head that straight away there was a change in personality.
And he's only young too.
So you go, mate. Don't waste any time, mate. If you're at work today, have a sickie, go get it checked out.
And have a few weeks off, Will. Tell your team you're not available for a month, mate. Just get those checks done.
Hey, Will, it is only a game.
And once you have one, you are more vulnerable for it having easier the second time with the lesser knocks.
So many people want to have their say on this. We'll continue it on the Facebook page and also on Twitter at Grill Team. So
perfect.
Thank you for everyone for their calls and being so honest with us this morning.
Triple Ambassador. What that is someone who wants to be loud and proud about listening to Triple M and wax the virtual bumper sticker on their Facebook profile picture. Doesn't have to take up the whole thing, just along the bottom underneath your noggin.
Very famous for the sticker, Triple M rocks a certain suburb or whatever it might be. And of course, a virtual sticker now perfect for social media. And Steve from Liverpool, he's done exactly that. Good morning to you, Steve.
Good morning, guys. How's it going?
How about you start the week off with $1,000 cash from all of us here at Triple M, brother?
Oh, fantastic. I was hoping you were ringing to tell me I was going to Mexico.
Sorry, mate. That happened about 2 months ago.
I tried.
Hey, Steve, for anyone listening, all you got to do is go to triplem.com.au and upload your Facebook pic and adjust it with a sticker. Nice and easy, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's too easy.
Well done, mate. $1,000 richer, Stevie. Enjoy your week, mate. Have a good one.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Steve.
Good on you,
mate.
Steve. Well, big week on the show. We're out of here. Maroon's up next with the 90s at 9.
See you tomorrow, everyone.
Bright and early.
Bye.
See you then.
You've just heard a Triple M Grill Team podcast. Hear them from 6 to 9 a.m. weekdays on Triple M.
If you're obsessed with the Grill Team, you can relive it with our podcast. If you're obsessed with league, get Fox Sports, only on Foxtel.